Hey guys, and welcome back for another Christmas tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make this really beautiful and cozy poncho. So if you're not already following the 12 days of Christmas tutorial, then don't forget to subscribe, and there will be a playlist link below if you are watching this after the 12 days of Christmas tutorials. So for this tutorial you will need a piece of fabric. I'm using a plaid coating flannelette is what it was called on the bolt. I'll have a link and all the materials over at the blog post, which will be linked in the information icon as well as down below, and also all the measurements will be over there. But you can measure out your wingspan, and then that could be your measurement. So if I measured from my wrist to wrist with my arms wide open, then I get about 54 to 60 inches depending on where I want it to fall. So you can take your actual measurements, and then the other part of the fabric, the other measurement, will just be right off the bolt. So I'm only gonna cut, so you can literally walk into the fabric store and just say I want a piece that's 60 inches, and then you can start creating your poncho straight from that piece. So if your piece is 60 inches wide, we're just gonna divide that in half, and we will cut up the center of the fabric halfway, and this is where we're going to wrap it around our neck. So if you would like to hem it, it's totally up to you. If you're using a material that doesn't fray, such as fleece, you could just leave it, but I'm choosing to hem this because I do have a woven fabric. It will fray over time. So I'm just going to fold over my edge about 3/4 of an inch, and then I'm going to clip that into place. And if you want to use the sewing machine to do this, you of course can do that, but I'm going to choose to do it by hand just so that I don't see my stitching. So of course this would be so much faster if I use the sewing machine, but just aesthetically I would rather take the time and do it with my needle and thread. So I'm choosing to do whip stitches, so I'm just going to sew along the hem. So I'm going over top of the raw edge of the fabric so that I can make sure that that stays nice and flat against the inside of my poncho. So just keep going along, just over and over and over and over. Sewing for days. So I'm just going to go ahead and do all that. It took me a little bit of time, so of course I did that off camera. And then once you're done there, then you're pretty much done making your poncho. Of course from here you can get very creative. If you're using a fabric that isn't woven, such as this one, you can put pom-pom trim on the ends, or you can add fur, or there's just so many different options for this poncho. So I'm just going to show you what I did with the edges of my poncho. So this is a selvage. They put these white threads through just so that it doesn't fray on the bolt. So I'm just going to slice off this part. And once I'm done that, then I can begin the fraying process. I'm choosing to fray my edges just so that I don't have to finish them off, and I think it looks kind of nice depending on how much you fray. So if you fray it like an inch or 2 inches, then it's very intentional, and I think it looks really pretty. So I'm just going to take my stitch ripper, and that will help me poke the fabric so I can pick up 1 strand or 2 strands at a time, and I'll just pull on them and they will very carefully come out. So it's just like burlap. Burlap is really obvious, and it's woven and it frays. It's like this, but obviously really, really close together. So you're just going to keep pulling those threads until you get the amount of fringe that you like. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Don't forget, all the information and the type of fabric I use is over at the blog post, and definitely share this with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button if you're enjoying the 12 days of Christmas tutorials. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.